Guys, I was just about to make the most craziest story time you've ever heard. After sitting back and thinking about the whole situation, I don't want to go against my own morals and what I stand for. This story time is going to be vague. I will be saying some things that these two influencers have done, so you know what's right from wrong. You know who you want to support. I just want to say that not everything you see on social media is the truth. These two influencers are painting a whole false narrative and completely switching the roles on my best friend Gianna and other people that I truly love and care about. I'm speaking out of this from a place of maturity, peace, and just straight facts. And also when it comes to name dropping for legal reasons and to once again protect everybody's peace, I'm not going to be saying names. I'm sure it's going to be easy to figure it out, but I won't be saying any names. And also let me make this clear. Every single situation I'm about to talk about, I was there and I witnessed with my own two eyes. This is not a he said, she said. This is actually the truth and actually what happened. For starters, Gianna was really close with this one influencer who came to her house where her and her boyfriend both live and proceeded to flirt with Gianna's boyfriend. And let me just get it straight. It wasn't all her. It was definitely him too. Again, I witnessed that with my own eyes. That was just like the starting point of it all. Fast forward to a couple months later, tension was felt, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I heard with my own two ears them talking bad about Gianna. Okay, weird, right? Chris, I'm skipping a lot of the small details. They do play a big part, but I just want to get straight to the point, and I do want to be vague about this. And from there, to sum it up, that one influencer totally betrayed Gianna, trying to get with her boyfriend, and Gianna's boyfriend totally betrayed Gianna by trying to get with her friend. But it doesn't stop there. The same influencer, the same exact influencer did the same exact thing to Julia. There's so many more things that this influencer did, but the last thing I'm going to say is she not only did that those two girls, she continued to do that to many other girls. I witnessed with my own two eyes, and I heard with my own two ears her tell Gianna, I wanted you to be the crazy one. I know you're not, but I wanted that to be the moral of the story. I heard that from her mouth into my ears. I heard that. Keep in mind, this is all a recording. Yes, the people involved have the receipts for all of this. It's truly disgusting. Somebody with this big of a platform and this big of an influence on these young girls is completely twisting every story, manipulating her own audience, and using her platform to try to twist things to make Gianna look bad. And everybody else for that matter, taking no accountability at all. And it doesn't stop with just girls. It's not that she's just not a girl's girl. She does the same thing with guys. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen receipts. I've seen messages with multiple guys of her completely being the villain in the story and then switching it to make them seem like the villain. Or the Joker. If you know, you know. I want to let you guys know, if you guys ever been in a mentally abusive situation, whether that's in a friendship or a relationship, I'm here and so is Gianna. Clearly dealt with this before, been in these toxic situations, so you are not alone. My DMs are always open. You can always reach out to me. I'm not posting this for the drama, for the rage bait, for the clicks, for the likes, for the views. I don't care about that. What I care about is the truth. I'm going to use my platform to speak out and bring awareness to things that need light shined on it. This video is in no way for you guys to go hate on anybody else. I do not condone that, especially not in my comment section or on my page whatsoever. I don't want to be the reason why somebody's career ends, their life is ruined. That does not stand with me whatsoever. Again, this is strictly for awareness purposes, so please watch out for the creators that you're supporting. People that move with truth naturally attract good people, so watch your influencers' surroundings. The past couple hours, I've just been wanting to scream to the world everything that these two influencers have done. So many of my close friends, but I believe it needs to be left in God's hands. And again, I do not want to see any hate. I do not condone that on my page or anybody else's. I've been sitting here contemplating for the past couple hours on what to say. Should I say the full story? Should I keep quiet? Should I name drop? Should I not? If I were to sit here and tell you guys everything, it would be hours worth of footage. It truly sparked something in me that these influencers with these big platforms and influence on people are painting the wrong people to be the villains. Again, just because people speak loud doesn't mean they're always speaking the truth. And I want to say, if you quickly see somebody jump on social media and cry about a guy or a girl that they were recently with, watch out, because the people that are so quick to post on social media want to be the first people to speak up so people believe them instead of the truth. You cannot manipulate the truth. You can't manipulate receipts. You cannot deny facts. Another influencer who Gianna was around for about 4 years constantly did her so wrong, and she continued to let him in because she has such a big heart and try to see the bigger picture each and every time. Gave him a job, a home to live in, supported all of his dreams. Disgusting how he paid her in return.
Put a finger down if one Saturday in the fall of 2025, you wake up at 10 o'clock or a little bit before so that you can go over to the high school where you teach and direct the fall play at to make sure that your student actors are getting their headshots taken for the fall play in November. So you wake up a little after 9 o'clock, get showered and dressed and get a bagel and bring it over to the photographer and the other staff member working at around 10:45. At 11:30, you go to your car and open it so that you can get a reimbursement receipt for a purchase you made for one of the productions last year. And then you open the car, grab the receipt, shut the door, and go back inside. And then at around 12:20, you leave the high school so that you can go 20 minutes over to one of the towns nearby so that you can be the manager for an on-site event that's happening in the town. You get about 15 minutes from the actual high school where you were just at, not even 15 minutes ago, really, at that point. And then while you're driving for about 15 minutes, you left 15 minutes ago, you've been driving in your car for 15 minutes, you look to your right, and you normally have over here on this side of the car on the passenger seat a little trash can, an in-car trash can that when you brake, it tends to make some forward moving momentum, and you think, oh, the trash can is moving. And then immediately you remember that on Wednesday you went to a game with your wife, your brother-in-law, and his wife, and you removed the little garbage can from the seat over here because you didn't want it to get in the way of them sitting. So you then have a moment of thinking, well, if it's not the garbage can, what could it possibly be? And you see another little bit of forward moving momentum from that side. You look over and you realize that it's an arm, a person's arm. A person is actively moving their arm in your car. And then you look down and you see a person's face being birthed out of the canal underneath the passenger seat in your car on the floor. And you have the realization that at that moment, for the 15 minutes that you've been driving in your car, you swerve into a parking lot because you realize that for the last 15 minutes that you've been driving, and for however long prior to this, you realize that a person has been underneath your passenger's car seat while you drove and warmed up your voice because you were feeling a little bit hoarse. As you do that, you immediately scream the words, "Oh my fucking God," and then you go into the parking lot, swing open your driver's side door, and proceed for the next 5 minutes to scream, "What the fuck? Get the fuck out of my car, get the fuck out of my car, get the fuck out of my car, get the fuck out of my car," over and over again. As you're doing this, a daycare is open for the weekend, and they come out and they hear you and they go, "What's going on?" And you tell them that there is a person inside your car that you don't know. This is a person that you do not know. You've never met this person before. There is a random person in your car that you at first might have thought was a kid who was like playing hide and seek or trying to run away from home, so you were concerned for them, and then immediately became concerned for your health, but you realized it was a full-on adult. You immediately then called the police and told them that you were traveling for 15 minutes by yourself with a person in your car that you were unaware of for 15 minutes while you drove and didn't realize. They got there in under 2 minutes. They ask you a couple of questions and they go to try and proceed to get the person out of your car. She's clearly disoriented, clearly not aware of what's going on, has no idea what's happening, has no idea where she is. And then as you call your wife to be like, "Hey, so I just texted you to say so and ask you to bring me something, but there's a woman in my car and I didn't know," and then you tell her, "Oh, I have to go because the police officer is coming over," and then the police officer says, "So we're trying to get her out of your car currently at this current moment. So I just have to ask you a question. When you realized that she was in your car, was she already naked or was she in the process of undressing?" And you have to look at this police officer and go, "What? What?" And he goes, "Oh." And you see the biggest look, the most sad look, the most pity anyone has ever delivered to you in your entire life, as this police officer realizes that in the 15 minutes that you were driving, in your car, this person, this woman, this 40-year-old woman who you did not realize was in your car was naked underneath your car seat. She was naked underneath your car seat. And then eventually, after another half an hour, as she's getting dressed in the car, she finally gets out in a full outfit, bonnet, glasses, shirt, shawl, pants, and boots, and a tote bag, a full tote bag.
Story time on how I think my cousin and my other cousin was low-key doing nasty stuff. So this happened when I was probably in 5th grade, I think. I don't remember. But all I know is that we was young. My sister, she was like a baby. She's probably like 4 years old. Now, how old is she? We're 5 years apart. So if I was 10, she was 5. Okay. So she's like 4 or 5, right? So we go to my cousin's house for it's like a family barbecue type shit. And we get in the house and they're like, "Oh, like the kids are downstairs." The kids as in my true cousins. We're going to call them, I don't even fucking know. We're going to call them Jeremiah and Shanice. So Jeremiah and Shanice is already downstairs playing or whatever. So the adults are like, just go downstairs and play with them. So me and my sister, we go downstairs to play with them, and we're like, hey y'all, like what y'all playing? They're like, oh, we're like just playing like house. Like it's not like house, but like a house type game. So they're like explaining the rules, and they're like, oh yeah, so Jeremiah is the boyfriend, and then Shanice is like, I'm the girlfriend, and then they were like, what are you guys gonna be? This nigga Jeremiah is gonna be like, oh, like Namira and Imaya, that's my sister, they can be lesbians, because Namira good at being a lesbian, all because I made my dolls lesbian one time, because I only had one boy Barbie, so she needed a lover, so I made her lesbian. So I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. I'm not gonna be lesbian with my sister. He's like, okay, y'all can just be sisters then. I'm like, okay. So this time I had an American Girl doll, right? So I had my American Girl doll, and they're like, can that be our baby? I'm like, you know what? Fine. So they're downstairs. Me and my sister are not really like playing the game because this shit is fucking weird. So they're kind of playing. We're kind of just observing. You know, there's a TV playing. We're watching TV, kind of just watching what they're doing. So as at some point, Jeremiah is like, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with him, but I guess he was like possessed or like angry, and he was like rapping under his breath. He's like, ugh. He's like rapping under his breath. He's like, and then Shanice. Hello, what did I call her? Shanice? Is that what I called her? I don't know. We gonna call her Shanice for now, if that's not what I said before. Then Shanice is like, she's like, bae, like slapping on his face. Bae, stop, like picking him up, kissing him on his mouth. Mind you, we're cousins. So she's kissing him on the mouth. Jeremiah, stop, bae, kissing him on the mouth. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. This is not real. So we end up going outside to, you know, continue playing this game or whatever. And they had this like one of them big ass fucking 4-wheelers. So they're riding that around the backyard or whatever. And Jeremiah pulls out one of the little Nerf. Can I say that word on here? The Nerf toys. Right? And he pretends to pew my baby doll. And then Shanice is like, my baby, she's dead. And I'm like, what do y'all got going the fuck on? So we go back in the house. We go upstairs to Jeremiah's room. And, oh, no. We're in the basement still. We go back to the basement first. We go back to the basement. And Shanice jumps behind the couch. And Jeremiah jumps behind the couch after her. So at this point, I already know there's some bullshit going on. So me and my sister go back upstairs with our mom, and they're like, okay, you guys gotta go back. You guys gotta go back and play. So we go back and play. They're like, let's go to Jeremiah's room. So we go to Jeremiah's room, and this is when they start being weird. So we go to Jeremiah's room, and we put on a movie. Shanice and Jeremiah go like on the side of the bed with the blanket over them, and y'all, I'm hearing kissing and I'm seeing blankets moving. I'm like, oh, y'all some nasty motherfuckers. Y'all, they was hunching under the blankets. Like, I don't give a fuck what nobody said. They was hunching. So me and my sister leave the room again. So we go back downstairs to our mom in the kitchen, right? And then a little bit later, Shanice comes downstairs. She's wearing a dress. She comes back downstairs, and her dress is tucked into her panties. Her dress is tucked into her panties. So all the adults are like, why the fuck are your fucking, why is your dress tucked into your panties like that? She's like, oh, no, I was in the bathroom, and when I pulled up my panties, they got stuck in my dress. Nah, you was hunching your cousin at that. And they would always want to play house. They always wanted to play house, and y'all, Shanice is always going to be, she's always been a fucking weirdo. Y'all, this is going to be two stories in one. So one day, Shanice comes to my house because I'm babysitting, and I guess she wanted to spend the night. I don't fucking know why. Me and her don't even click like that. So she ends up spending the night at my house, and my mom leaves. So it's just me, Shanice, my little sister, I think my baby brother, and then my baby cousin. So we're babysitting or whatever, and she keeps trying to take my phone. I'm like, no, like, give me my fucking phone. So I take my phone back, and she gets mad at me, and y'all, no fucking joke, she literally pushed me on the floor, got on top of me, and started humping me. Like, y'all, it's not funny. Like, I'm not laughing or smiling because it's funny, because honestly, that shit's fucking weird. She literally humped me. Are we serious?
Okay, get ready with me while I tell you about my psychotic roommate who said I threatened to stab and kill him. Okay, so me and my roommate weren't really, like, that close, in the beginning because we were both random, and it took us, like, a while to warm up to each other. But eventually we did, and I started like introducing her around to my friends. But during this time, I guess she wasn't really making friends, so like my friends like quickly became her friends. And so it kind of like became this bond with me, two of my other friends, and my roommate. And it was kind of like the four of us were a very tight bond. But just keep that in mind that like the four of us were really tight. Like one night we literally stayed up from 10 p.m. all the way up until 5 a.m. like just like telling each other everything. And also with that, the four of us, we would all go out with each other. But one night my roommate met this guy at the club, and I guess they like exchanged numbers and stuff, and they began talking. Okay, this is like pretty early in the school year, so we hadn't had like our roommate like agreement actually made yet. But one morning I wake up and he's just in the room, and I'm like, what? And so after that incident, I kind of stood on a ground rule. I was like, okay, that was not okay from now on. Like, you have to let me know in advance if someone's coming to like the room last minute. Now, keep that in mind. So we fast forward to 2 weekends ago, and it's parents weekend. Okay, both of our parents were in town for parents weekend, and so we were like both busy the whole weekend, but she still went out with a couple of our other friends Friday night. But on Friday, I'm awakened to a call at 4:30 in the morning from my roommate. And I'm like, yes. And she answers the phone and she's like, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm sleeping over at our friend's dorm tonight. Is that okay? And I was like, I just want to let you know. And so I answer the phone and she's like, okay, I'm just calling to let you know I'm staying at like our friend's dorm tonight. And I'm like, okay, but like could have been a text low key. But after she called me, I like could not go back to sleep. Like I was like up for the whole rest of the night, just up. And so Saturday comes around and she goes to Universal for the whole day with her parents, and I spend the day with my parents. And so Saturday night comes back and we finally see each other, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. After you called me last night, like I could not go back to sleep. Like once I'm up. Like it's so annoying, da 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 da. And then she's like, oh yeah, like I'm so tired too. I spent the whole day at Disney. I'm exhausted, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I have a 5K I've been training for with my dad tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, so I have to go to sleep. And so we both go to sleep, and that's that. That was not just that. I awaken at 3:30 from a call from my roommate. And so I answer, I'm like, hello? Like, last time I saw you, you were literally asleep. And she's like, oh, you're on speakerphone, but can I bring this guy over to the room at 3:30 a.m.? And I'm like half asleep, so I'm like, what? Like, what are you saying? Then she goes, can a guy come over? And then like she pauses and she like whispers and she's like, help me get rid of him. Like I need you to help me get rid of him. And so at this point I'm like thinking she's in danger. So I'm like, oh my god, like yeah, come back to the room. Now, when she comes back to the room, she like is whispering to a person. She goes like, shh, wait by the door. And she runs over to my bed over here, and her bed's on that side. And she goes, no matter what he says, like say no, he cannot stay here. I don't want him in this room tonight. And me, being the good roommate that I am, I was like, okay, yeah, like let me help you out. Let me like bring him in, like so I can tell him to get out. And so he comes in and he walks over to my bed. He's like, hey, my name is so-and-so. And I was like, oh, my name's Hampton, but I actually like don't want you in here tonight. Like I'm really tired. I have stuff in the morning, and like you have to go. I've never seen a man more butthurt. He goes, what? No, like you have to let me stay. Like it's supposed to be cool. It's chill. And so I'm like, no, like I don't even know you. You have to get out of here. And he's like, oh, we can get to know each other. What did you just say to me? And so I'm like, no, leave. And he and I are just going back and forth. And while all this is happening, my roommate is texting me, and I can try and put like inserts somewhere. And she's like, tell him no, like tell him to leave, tell him to get out. And I'm like, girl, I'm trying, please help. And then at some point he's like, oh, you're just so rude and commandeering and dominating of the room, you don't even care what your roommate says. And I said, okay, then let's. And she goes, oh, well, my roommate doesn't want you here, but I do, so I don't know. Like, excuse me? And like at that point, I'm pissed. I text her, I was like, I just gave you an out. Why would you dig yourself further into this? Like, I'm trying to help you out. And she's like, sorry, but now this guy like thinks he has a right to be in the room because my roommate said he could be in the room. And so him and I go back and forth again until I threaten to call an RA. And mind you, like, I don't know who this kid is. I don't even know if he goes to our school. And so of course he's like, okay, I'll leave. So he leaves. Why does my roommate follow him out of the room? So all that get him out of here bullshit was not even. And so I'm like, what was even that? So I at this point just cannot go back to sleep. But it doesn't matter because my roommate texts me like a minute after and is like, can you call me, or are you up? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, can you call me and ask me to come back to the room? And so at this point I'm so annoyed, but what do I, because I'm such a good roommate, what do? I go ahead and call her. And so I call her and I'm like, hello, where are you? And she's like, you're on speakerphone. I'm out here on the boardwalk, like outside our dorm with what's his name? And I'm like, oh, when are you coming back? And she's like, oh, when do you want me to come back? I said, now. And she goes, oh, okay. And then she mutes herself for a few seconds and then she comes back. She's like, do you want me to come back alone? I was like, yes, come back alone. Like, what? And so she comes like flopping back into the room and she's like giggling. She goes, haha, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I go, I'm gonna kill you. And so of course I sleep in and I miss my 5K I was training for with my dad. And so now I haven't talked to her all day Sunday and it's reaching almost all day Monday. But on Monday night she came in, like I hadn't seen her all day, and she comes into the room and she's like searching for something or like trying to pack clothes together, and she's like slamming her wardrobe, she's running over like to the bathroom, and all this I have our two friends over that she's friends with too, and she's not speaking to them, she's not looking at them, she's not anything, like she's not even acknowledging that they're like in the room. And so after like she was being rude to our friends who like did nothing to her, I was like, okay, like now she has an attitude, like we gotta talk this out. And so Tuesday rolls around and I get a moment with her and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, I just have a lot going on right now, like I don't really want to talk about it. And I was like, oh, well then can we talk about like what happened Saturday night? And she's like, no, I don't want to talk about that either. And at this point, like I raised my voice. I'm like, you brought a random guy here, like, and disturbed me in the middle of my sleep to help me kick him out, and then you lie and you don't want to talk about it. And so that starts the screaming match. And so we're arguing. I'm like, why were you being rude? Like all I wanted is an apology and for you to take accountability. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, like I'm sorry, what do you want me to do about it? It's already passed, it already happened, like what do you want me to do? Mind you, all I wanted was an apology and accountability. But we're just screaming and she's just like, well, you're not perfect either. And I'm like, well, what do I do? She's like, well, sometimes you tell me to like kill myself. And I'm like, okay, I do say that, but like we play a lot of games and I'll say it in the setting of like, oh, you want a game, I'm jealous of you, like kill yourself. But I've also had people who don't like it come up to me and tell me to stop, and I have stopped. But she's never once like seemed uncomfortable with the joke or had ever said anything about it. But I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time, like, sorry. Then I'm like, okay, what else? And she's like, and also sometimes you rage bait me. And I do that, but again, I've kept doing, like, she's never had like, she's joked back with me about it. Like, you've never once mentioned I had a problem. But again, I'm like, you know what? I take accountability for my actions. I apologize. I'm sorry. And then I asked her, like, why were you being so rude to our friends who were in here? And she was like, oh, I heard they were, like, talking shit about me. And I was like, baby girl, we have been the closest friends ever. Like, why would you ever act like that? Like, that's so weird. And she just keeps making excuses. And at this point, I, like, don't want to hear it anymore. Like, our argument kind of fizzles out and she leaves the room. I have hiccups right now, so excuse me. But she leaves the room and a few hours go by that I get a text from her, and here's a text. And it's basically this, like, long apology. Okay, just, like, remember this apology. Like, keep this in mind. It's going to be brought up later. And so I'm, like, I really like hate texting, and like especially in things like this, like I don't want to do it over the phone, so I don't respond to the text, and I'm like, okay, next time I see her in person, like I'll talk to her about it. And so I end up seeing her the day after, and she comes into the room and she runs in. She's like, before I can say anything, she's, I'm so sorry, like what I did was so messed up. I know that I was totally in the wrong. I crossed so many boundaries. Like I know I like messed up. And then at this point I'm trying to like apologize, and I'm like, oh well, you know, I'm sorry too. And she's like, no, you don't have to apologize for what you did. Like I don't really, like, you didn't really do anything wrong. Like this is all on me. And like I'm very big on forgiveness, so I'm like, okay, you just took accountability and forgave me, like we're good. And like I just wanted you to give me a genuine apology and like accept accountability. And so we're talking and everything's good. I'm like, well, you know, our two friends who were in here, they're pretty hurt by you like just coming and ignoring them. And she's like, oh, I genuinely didn't see them there. Like, do you think they'll accept my apology? And I'm like, I think they would, like if I put in a good word with you. And so I like schedule a meeting for her and my other friends to try and like reconcile and like let's figure this out like right now. And we get to the meeting point with her and she just blows it. But that's a different story time. And so basically after the meeting, like nothing really changed between her and my other friends. Like they kind of, if anything, kind of got the opposite. Like they kind of were like, okay, she's moving very weird. Like we don't really want to talk and be friends with her anymore. And so after that meeting, I go back to her. I'm like, oh, I think you kind of messed that up. Like they really felt very hurt by that entire conversation. Like we got to work on doing better. Now, all that happened on Thursday night. And then Friday night, me and my friends are sitting down at the dining hall eating dinner, and I get this email from my area coordinator who's like runs the hall. And I get this and I screenshot it and send it to my roommate. I'm like, what's this? Like last time we talked, we were all good. Like I'm helping you get on good standings with our friends. And so at this point, I'm just like very confused. I'm like, I'm so confused. Like we both apologized. You told me actually I didn't even have to apologize for my, like what I did, like what's going on. And so the day of the meeting, my area coordinator emails me and is like, hey, can we meet like a few hours before the meeting so I can like get your side of the story and like we can kind of work things out. And so I get to my area coordinator and I tell her the whole story, but basically whatever I like posted in the last video, like detail for detail. I show her the text and like this is what happened. And she goes, oh, well that's like very interesting because the report we got was that you threatened to stab her 12 times and she feels very unsafe in the room and that you have threatened to suffocate and kill her. Now, let me do some background. I would not kill a bug if we were outside. Like, I'm a very positive person. I've always lived my life, like, on the beliefs that, like, everyone should just enjoy every day. Like, I am not one to, like, threaten people. So when I heard this, my jaw dropped. I was like, no way. And I'm sitting there in, like, the area coordinator's room, like, wait, she's like, she said that? And she's like, yeah, like, she told our RRA this the other day, and I'm just like, I can't believe it. And so basically I'm like, after that I'm heated because I'm like, last time we talked everything was good, like what is going on? And so we get to the meeting and I walk in and of course she's avoiding eye contact, she's not looking at me, and I'm just like sitting there like, all right, let's bring it on. And the story starts, and this is how she tells the story word for word. So there was this guy I knew who texted me that he needed some place to stay, and so I called Hampton and asked if it was okay, and she said yes. And so I brought him over, and they started getting into an argument, and then I kind of didn't get into the middle of it because like they were really going back and forth, and then we decided to leave, and then I came back, I apologized, and she said, I'm gonna kill you. And then after that, I just felt really threatened. Like I thought that she was very, like, she sounded very serious, like it was a genuine threat. And I'm just sitting there like bubbling with anger. I'm like, oh my god, she didn't even tell them that. She like told me to help kick him out. Like she didn't even mention that detail. And so when it gets to telling my side of the story, I like pull out the receipts. I am just going in on like the detail to everything. I'm just telling them everything that happened. I'm showing them the text, and she's like, oh, screenshot and like send me those texts. And I'm like, yeah, like I got you. Like I am just going over everything. So I'm like, this girl is just lying. And so the end concises was that she would move out because, I mean, like, why not? Like, if you feel so threatened, then move out. And so we have to have a lot of times when you're supposed to be in the room before she moved out, and which we both respected, I'll give you that. And then now she all moved out. I'm so glad. But I found out about the victim support thing because, you know how I said my friends were her friends? So my friend came up to me and was like, hey, I talked to your roommate earlier. She said she was moving out. Like, what's going on? But then basically I was like, well, what did she tell you? What happened? And apparently she told my friend that we had an argument, and then my friend was like, well, what was it over? And my friend was like, oh, I did something bad, like I messed up. My friend was like, well, what'd you do? And she was like, I don't want to go into it. So she didn't even tell my friend like why I threatened to kill her. That's odd. That's also how I found out that she is in a victim support group, but she is a pathological liar, so maybe she was lying about that too, because like these are the only knives I own. How would I stab you with everyday clear cutlery? Like I'm so confused. Anyway, and so basically now we don't talk, which I'm super glad about. She was just crazy,